Today on Public Eye News, the Fish and Wildlife Commission announces funding for the restoration of Khalil Creek in Baraga, and later, President Joe Biden has stated he will sign the bill banning TikTok when it reaches his desk.
Our very own Bradley Seaborg will give us a look into some back-and-forth weather conditions, and Austin Graham will have a look at the NHL playoffs and more in your sports breakdown. I'm Melissa Santour.
And I'm Luke Middle, and you're watching Public Eye News. The United States Fish and Wildlife Services has announced that just over $600,000 in funding will be attributed to the restoration of Khalil Creek. The effort will restore full fish passage and natural stream flow at the site, with the project partner lead being the Keweenaw Bay Indian community. The project is a part of the National Fish Passage Program, which is a plan to connect watersheds all across the United States. A passing of the bipartisan infrastructure law in November of 2021 included $200 million for restoring fish and wildlife passages across the country, and also providing technical assistance for the National Fish Passage Program. Meanwhile, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has announced that samples of pasteurized milk were found to contain traces of bird flu as a result of infected dairy cows. 5 Michigan counties have already reported bird flu outbreaks in dairy cattle, being Ionia, Isabella, Ottawa, Montcalm, and Newaygo counties, with Newaygo finding the virus in poultry. The FDA has not announced where in the country the samples have come from or how many samples were tested. They have stated that the testing has been conducted during processing and from grocery stores. So far, only 2 cases of bird flu have been reported in the U.S., and both recovered with no complications.
And the Michigan Department of Education has divided out $732,000 in grants to teachers across the state. This award is being distributed to over 100 educators throughout 53 school districts as recognition for earning national board certification. This grant has achieved Goal 7 of Michigan's Top 10 Strategic Education Plan by recognizing and retaining teachers, and helped to boost the amount of certified teachers in areas of need. Each school received at minimum a $4,000 grant and a $10,000 grant if their school of employment receives building-wide federal Title I funding. And the company behind Jeep, Stellantis, says they are preparing to lay off an unspecified number of its 43,000 U.S. employees. Citing an ever-changing auto market and sales declines, the company is dealing with increased spending as it attempts to make the transition from gasoline vehicles over to electric, while they also face a decrease in sales throughout the U.S. Stellantis states they do not plan to give details of when the layoffs will start or specifically why. However, company CEO Carlos Tavares has publicly stated the reason for these layoffs is to make electric vehicles more affordable for the middle class, and they have already laid off 199 workers at the Ram truck factory in Sterling Heights. A new therapy dog is roaming around the halls of Marshfield Middle School. The Marshfield Police Department recently announced the hiring of an Australian lab named Reggie. News Channel 7's Nolan Bullman shows how he's already impacting those around him.
A new puppy is on patrol at the Marshfield Police Department. Its main task is to enhance the lives at Marshfield Middle School and the rest of the community. Meet Reggie, an adorable therapy dog who's already become a smash hit with students.
I started kind of brainstorming ways that I could build on the culture that I had established. One thing that I noticed was therapy dogs were becoming more and more popular.
This is your first time meeting him?
Reggie may just be a small puppy, but his job requires big responsibilities.
So Reggie's here to bring positive energy and to put a smile on everyone's face. That's the first thing I saw when you walked up and met him. That's the first thing I see in every kid that walks through these doors in the morning.
Just 2 weeks in, the work of Reggie is already paying dividends for those who cross his path.
Whenever I see Reggie, I feel like I don't have anxiety anymore. My stress, I don't have stress anymore. Like whenever I see him, like I'm calm.
He's never alone, and there's always a lot of people that are comforting him, and he's also comforting them.
I think whenever you add an element to a job, you're challenging yourself, and with challenge comes growth. Reggie's allowed me already to grow as an officer, to grow as a human.
A promising start for what looks to be a lasting partnership.
I'm so excited. Reggie's for the whole community, not just the schools. So this is something that the community can rally around, and it's going to be awesome.
Now with Reggie's name, Officer Klein said he wanted to do something sports related. He said the debate was between Reggie White and Bob Uecker, but thanks to the help from students, they ultimately came up with honoring the Packers Hall of Famer.
But don't touch that dial. Bradley Seaberg will be right back with your weather update, taking a look at what's to expect and more.
Subtle rises in sea level.
These events are climate change. Let's figure it out.
It's science and it's conservation.
We're at a period of remaking the world.
We can change the Earth.
We're doing this for the future. If we don't, what then?
Welcome back. I'm Bradley Seaborg, and I'll be taking you through our Public Eye weather report. Starting off with a look at our roof cam here on campus. It's a bright and sunny day here on our academic mall, even though the temperatures are still a little chilly. Now, looking at our map of the UP, we've got bright sun all the way across the peninsula. Starting off with our temperatures up in Houghton, it is 39, 45 over in Ironwood, 46 in Iron Mountain, and 41 in Menominee. Moving to our east side of the UP, a little bit of cloud cover over in Escanaba. 43 is the temperature there, 43 in Manistee. More sunshine in Sault Ste. Marie at 39, and back in beautiful Marquette, it is 34 and sunny. Looking at our current conditions, we've got the winds out of the northeast at 7 miles an hour and our barometric pressure of 30.38 inches and steady. Looking towards tonight, it's going to be a clear night with a low of 23, winds out of the east at 5 miles an hour, moving towards the south as the night goes on. Looking at tomorrow's temperatures, high of 52, low of 34 with that bright sun in the sky, winds out of the south at 10 miles an hour. Looking at our weekend forecast, high of 63 on Friday with a low of 44, partly cloudy skies, and you better get out there and enjoy it because on Saturday it's going to be 49 and cloudy with a low of 37 at night. And on Sunday, the rain rolls back in with a high of 60 and a low of 40. That's all I've got for your weather. Back to the news desk.
Thank you for that weather update, Brad. It's always nice to get those rays of sunshine in the sky. Jumping back into some more national news, the United States Supreme Court is considering the implications of Idaho's emergency ban on abortions today. This will be the court's first time seeing an abortion case since the 2022 overturning of Roe v. Wade. The High Court's previous decision allowed for individual states to decide on the criminalization of abortion, leading to 14 states banning the procedure in any stage of pregnancy, including Idaho most recently. The Biden administration argued in court that even though states have banned abortion, federal healthcare laws still state that hospitals must allow for termination in the case of the patient's life or health being at serious risk. Though Idaho has affirmed that some exceptions are allowed in case of a medical emergency, performing an abortion in the state is a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. And across D.C., President Joe Biden has announced that he will sign the bill that could lead to the ban of social media app TikTok when it reaches his desk today. The Senate rolled the ban in with an international relief aid package bill, which passed 79 to 18. ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, will now have 6 months to sell the app or face the app's ban on American app stores. A 3-month extension will be available if a sale is in progress. The passing of the bill comes after rising concerns in Washington raised questions about the company's intentions on selling user data, with members holding a belief that the Chinese government could force ByteDance to hand over U.S. user data. China has stated previously that it would oppose a forced sale of the social media and once again stated its opposition. As of 2024, over 170 million American users have an account on TikTok. And heating homes with fossil fuels is a major source of greenhouse gas emissions. But one company is helping residential buildings reduce their impact and put carbon to use. Bradley Blackburn shows us how.
Deep in the basement of a New York City apartment building.
These are the boilers.
These massive devices generate heat and hot water for hundreds of residents.
This runs on natural gas.
Ryan Aspero with Carbon Quest says burning that fuel creates carbon dioxide. It would normally go out the chimney, but here's
the carbon capture room.
Their system captures CO2 before it's released in the air.
This tank holds 700 gallons of liquefied carbon dioxide. That's equivalent to about 3 tons of CO2.
The maze of pipes and tanks fills a room, but it's actually small scale. Most carbon capture happens at large industrial plants. Aspero believes bringing the technology down to this size is critical to fighting climate change.
This takes up about 800 square feet in a 400,000 square foot building.
More cities like New York are rolling out restrictions on building emissions, but changing an entire heating system to electric is difficult.
For buildings that use natural gas boilers, carbon capture
is a cost-effective and easy solution to implement without a major disruption.
From the basement, the CO2 is pumped out and taken by truck to Glenwood Mason in Brooklyn.
It's the exact duplicate tank.
VP Jeff Hansen says every day this factory churns out some 40,000 concrete blocks. They now inject CO2 in the slurry before blocks are formed to be stored forever.
Every one of these blocks has carbon locked up inside.
Every single one of them.
Using these blocks can help projects meet new green construction requirements. Carbon captured in a full cycle, showing how one building's waste can help build a greener future. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And wait right there. After this short break, Austin Graham will have a look at some special teams, special plays, and special players in the NHL after your Public Eye Sports Breakdown. Stay tuned.
Of Northern Michigan University. We are so proud of you for this major accomplishment. Congratulations, you did it!
Watch the 2024 spring commencement here on WNMU-TV, Saturday, May 4th at 10:30.
Welcome back. I'm Austin Graham, and this is your Public Eye Sports Report. Starting off with the gridiron, Reggie Bush has been reinstated as the 2005 Heisman Trophy winner. Bush's trophy was returned to the NCAA by USC after an investigation concluded that he received impermissible benefits. Heisman Trophy Trust President Michael Comerford said the decision to reinstate Bush came after considering the broad changes in college sports over the last number of years. Bush won the trophy awarded to college football's MVP after piling up over 2,000 yards from scrimmage and racking up 18 touchdowns for the Trojans. He had more than 700 first-place votes at the end of the 2005 season, good enough for fifth most in Heisman history. Now that he has his trophy back, Bush will be invited to all future Heisman Trophy ceremonies. Skating over to the NHL, the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs are in full swing. Carter Verhaeghe was the OT hero for the Panthers in their 3-2 W over the Lightning, taking a commanding 2-0 series lead. Goaltending was the key component in this clash between two rivals, as Sergei Bobrovsky and Andrei Vasilevsky made some immaculate saves for their squads. Over on the West Coast, the Predators shut down the Vancouver Canucks 4-1 to tie their series 1 game apiece. Former Canucks player Anthony Bolivar lit the lamp one time for the Preds and also recorded an assist. Philip Forsberg found the back of the net for Nashville and had an assist on Bolivar's goal. The Preds ended up outshooting the Canucks 18-16. Both series will continue on Thursday and Friday night. Now bouncing things over to basketball, the Indiana Pacers beat the Milwaukee Bucks to 125-108 in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Pacers were led by Pascal Siakam's 37-point night as Indiana tied up the series 1-1 with the Bucks. The win for the Pacers snapped a 10-game playoff losing streak, one that started in a Game 7 loss to the Cavaliers back in 2018. Game 3 will take place in Indianapolis on Friday night at 5:30. That's all I have for sports today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you so much for that sports update, Austin. I don't know about you, Melissa. I've been keeping up with the NHL playoffs. And I understand you have one more story for us.
I do have one more story for us. Don't miss out on the chance to check out the artwork of graduating seniors from Northern Michigan University at the DeVos Art Museum on Friday, May 3rd. The showcase starts at 6 p.m. with a closing ceremony at 7 p.m. and awards starting at 8 p.m. Art from all concentrations will be showcased, including digital cinema, ceramics, illustration, and more.
And with that, we are out of time on Public Eye News. I'm Luke Middle.
And I'm Melissa Santour, and we'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.
Thanks for watching Public Eye News. You can subscribe to our YouTube, tune in to WNMU Channel 13 every weekday at 4, or follow our Instagram at NMU Penn to never miss a story.